Welcome to this tutorial on graphing African buffalo and wildebeest populations. You'll see a familiar graph on your screen, the buffalo population between 1960 and 1975 in the Serengeti. We're going to look today at what happened after 1975. So after this sharp increase in the buffalo population, what happens next? We'll look at wildebeest as well. You're going to create a couple of line graphs like you can see here. So let's get started. Go ahead and open your assignment with the spreadsheet for African buffalo and wildebeest, 1960 to 2000. When you open it up, you're going to see the data is already there for buffalo populations. You're going to want to insert a chart for that data. Remember, you can select all the data by clicking in the top left cell, holding the Shift key, and clicking in the bottom right. Once you do that, you can insert a chart. Okay, Google Sheets picks a line graph for us, and that's the right type, although there's some things we can improve about it. First of all, make your title more descriptive. Okay, after you add your title, make sure that you have the chart editor open. You can do that by clicking on the graph if it's not open already. Make sure that you're in Customize, and inside of Customize, you'll want to go to Grid Lines and Ticks. Let's add some more grid lines here. You can click the checkbox to add minor grid lines. Okay, pretty good. You can change the minor count to 10, and you're going to see a lot more detail there. You make your graph a little bit larger. And then there we have for the vertical axis. Let's actually change it for the horizontal axis as well. You can see that it's already currently divided up. The major grid lines are every decade. Let's see if we can get grid lines for every year. So once you click minor grid lines, it divides each of those decades up into 3 sections. That's a weird way to do it. That doesn't fall on any particular year, but there are 10 years in a decade. So once you change the minor count to 10, you're gonna see, okay, there it is. Now we have lines for every year on here. One other thing to change as well is if you go into Series, you've got some options for adding the actual data points on here. If you change the point size to something like 7 pixels, now it'll show up there with a point for each of the population size each year. We're looking pretty good here. I'm going to recommend running through tails one time to make sure you have everything. T for title. Do we have a descriptive title? Yep. A for axes. We have the independent variable on the x-axis, the dependent variable on the y-axis. Intervals. Everything's evenly spaced here. Labels. We have our axes labeled. Nice. Scale. Is our graph taking up the whole graph area? Yep. Looks good. Go ahead and copy your graph and then paste it into your graphing portfolio assignment. Then you're going to take some time to graph the wildebeest populations as well. One thing I want to show you how to do is make new tabs here. If you change the name by clicking this drop-down button, you can rename this Buffalo. Okay, that's one sheet. You can add another sheet here by clicking the plus button. Once you click the plus button, look, you've got a new blank sheet. You can always pop back to Buffalo if you need to. Or sheet 2, let's rename that Wildebeest. Please make a graph for the wildebeest population between 1960 and 2000. Remember, the wildebeest were increasing like the buffalo until 1976. I had that really sharp rise between 73 and 76. But what happened after that? Here are your data to use for wildebeest. I'd like you to create a new graph and include it in your graphing portfolio. Make your wildebeest graph look just like your buffalo graph. Obviously the pattern is going to be different, but do some of the similar choices for major and minor grid lines and for your data points as well. Be thoughtful about all the aspects of your graph. Think about tails as you do it.